November of 2017, I had an opportunity to take over a second location. And I was interested in this location because, one, the price was right. I didn't have a whole lot of money. I had just bought some real estate for Shop One. And so the price was right on it. We closed on it November 1st. And really the deciding factor to do this was I thought I had achieved everything I could achieve in my current market. This was a market, a different town, different community. There was a big dog in my first town, and I was resigned to playing second fiddle. I didn't think that I could do more than $750,000. They were a very strong competitor, and so I decided to go to a different market and try there. But I didn't do it on the good fundamentals and the good practices that ShopFix teaches. I didn't have enough money in the bank. I didn't have enough human capital to make it work. So right from the get-go, we were behind the eight ball. And it took about 3 months of basically getting my butt handed to me and losing money. And I heard about ShopFix. A lot of my friends were signing up for it. And so I went to the first Hackers in April of 2018 and sat through the whole event, and I signed up at the end. And the goal was to try to save my second store and get my first store providing a little bit more revenue. That was my intention. However, what ShopFix helped me do was realize that I shouldn't have a second store, and it guided me through the process of stepping away from that and focusing and pushing all my resources into Store One. And I think ShopFix was a very important part of just walking through that. I mean, I had been in the industry since 2005, and I didn't, and this was 2018. So I mean, I had some experience, I had some ego, I had some pride, and I had to really swallow all that and deal with all that when I stepped away from that second store. And that's where ShopFix came in. And I feel like at that moment, when we decided to walk away from that store, that it was a very humbling experience. But in humility is an open mind so you can grow. And that process allowed me to grow my first store. We came back, we put all of our resources in that. We grew car count, we grew sales, we grew net profit. And my back was in a corner. When I left the second store, I had a lot of debt and a lot of things that I had to pay for with Store One. And so growing was a necessity. When I joined ShopFix, it was to save my second store and get my first store where it needed to be. That's why I thought I joined ShopFix. But the reality was I joined ShopFix to help me transition out of that second store and focus solely on Store One. And how that happened was my coach got on a call with two of my peers in ShopFix. They called me out of the blue. It was like an intervention call. And we sat there talking about Store Two and how it wasn't doing what it needed to do. It was distracting me from Store One, which was starting to crumble. And basically they laid it on the line. And they said, you need to close Store Two, otherwise Store One's you're gonna lose them both. And I remember that pivotal moment where I finally could get to myself to a place where I said, I think I need to close Store Two. And that was a wise decision. It was very humbling being in the automotive industry since 2005. It brought me to my knees basically, but in humility, it's a good season to grow. When you're humbled, your mind is open to new possibilities. So we came back in January 2019, started to focus on Store One, and we grew revenue. That year we did 1.1 million. Year two we did 1.5 million, which would have been COVID year. Year three we did 2.2 million. And I remember when we hit $1 million in 2019, it was almost like it was great, but it was also defeating because I'd been doing this since 2005, and I'm like, it took me 14 years to get to $1 million. And so it was like this dark side of like, it feels good, but it doesn't. And then finally after COVID, we set a goal of like, I want to grow sales $1 million in 1 year. So I want to take my store from 2.2 to 3.2. And we were able to achieve that in 2022. And that was a great feeling. So, you know, my family took a lot of cuts over the years. We had to give up a lot of things. I remember having conversations with my wife, and we sold her car. We sold a house that we had built in 2007. We had a lot of sacrifices, and one of the best byproducts of getting our business on track was being able to restore all those things that my wife gave up in the pursuit of my dream. So in 2021, we had gotten rid of the bad debt from our second store. Things were headed in the right direction. And I was presented with an opportunity to be a coach for ShopFix. And really, I kind of had to step back, because at that point, life was good. I was enjoying, not being in the shop every day, not doing all the heavy lifting. I was enjoying freedom. But what really got me to decide to become a coach was the fact that I want to make an impact. And I feel like there's a reason I went through my second store. There's a reason I went through that pain. There's a reason that that all happened to me. And that motivates me to try to make a difference in other people's lives. And so being a coach for ShopFix is really cool. You get to help facilitate members to reach outside their comfort zone, push through the issues and the roadblocks that they have in front of them, and get to the other side. It's been a very rewarding, very challenging, and honestly, it's improved my business. As I pour into somebody else, looking at their business, sometimes it's almost like I'm looking in the mirror and I'm like, how am I doing on this? So it's made my business better.